Hello, everybody!
Jingle, jingle,
How's it
bitches,
going?
what's up?
What's happening?
Sporting my art chaos glasses there.
Hell yeah.
So welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the Howling Hour. I'm joined by Marcus, your friendly neighborhood Noah, and Yoink himself. He is back again, and we are here to talk about all this week's horror news, especially what's going on in the Scream world. Scream 8 has been leaked out to be worked on, and which is kind of amazing in itself, especially since they haven't
make sure 7 doesn't
filming 7 yet. Yeah, exactly. And we have some casting announcements in Scream 7, which I want to talk about. One I am particularly excited about, which makes it worth watching the movie. Some eye candy, which is always good. But before we jump into things, our good friend, the writer and creator of Leslie Vernon, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, David J. Stevie, has released a short film out there which takes place in the universe of Behind the Mask. And if you were here a couple weeks ago, you heard us break the news that, hey, the script for part 2 is done. It's in the hands of Scott Glosserman, who was the director of the previous one. And the short film is called Wait For It. It is currently on Scott Glosserman's website production company. It's called gather.com. So GATHR. Link is in the comments there. You can rent it now for $5. And what we're going to do next week is we're going to do a live Easter egg hunt. So everybody that's watching, if you want to participate in that, if you watch the movie beforehand, you can participate in the Easter egg hunt when we're going through it. And we'll watch it here live together. So we'll do a watch along. Maybe we'll get some guests to pop in too for that one. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've seen some brief images from it. I haven't seen the trailer for it or anything, but it looks pretty damn amazing. So, guys, let's jump into the news. What happened? What happened? I missed it.
Oh, I said hell's yeah.
Oh.
I said I'm curious to see how it's gonna show that it's connected to the Behind the Mask universe, because it's gonna have to. I know there's Easter eggs, but because we talked about that, but I want to see if there's gonna be an overarching story that's oh my gosh, those unalivings back at the apple orchard, that kind of deal. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. All right, so let's dive into the news, right? And the news that recently came out is that Lee Cronin, the director of what did he direct? Oh, Evil Dead Rise. That's right. The director of Evil Dead Rise is now linked to Blumhouse, and he is doing The Mummy.
Ooh, yeah.
Blumhouse, as
Brendan Fraser, or
no,
original Universal.
So that's where I'm going. So Blumhouse, as we may know it, is done the remake of The Invisible Man, and they're working on Wolfman, which comes out next month. So now we're getting The Mummy. Blumhouse is co-producing it, and it's going to be released by New Line Cinemas. And what's your thoughts? We haven't gotten the Wolfman yet, and we're already jumping to The Mummy.
So I have a very quick take on it, which is that it really depends on who's running this production. If it's Blumhouse or if it's the director that they hired. So we're either going to get a really good movie or a really bad movie. I think it depends on who's, as I said, who's running the production.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah. He did do Evil Dead Rise, but it could be like his one good movie. I'm gonna give him a chance based off of that. But Lee Winnell has done The Invisible Man, and we see what's happening with the Wolfman. So doesn't mean that it's gonna translate.
Yeah, that's true. And then again, I mean, to Noah's point though, Blumhouse was. I mean, I hate to rag, but like he said, it's based on the production company and who's behind it.
Mhm.
My thing is like, are the Universal monsters now like it's open? I mean, what is it? The license is up. It's like in the open domain now, and that's why
Yep, it
people are
is.
able
Are
to.
they now?
Whatever the fuck. Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
That it
Maybe
was just
Nerdbox will make some
recently
good
up.
content for them.
So that's why
Yeah,
we're
but
getting so many different takes on the beloved Universal monsters now.
yeah. I just hope that they're not trying to go for some modern age, and I'm going to use the term woke nonsense in this universe, because that, like, I'm for that woke. People should have equal rights. If everybody is happy with the way they live, hey, I'm happy for you, right? But
However,
however, when you try to stuff it down my throat, then I kind of get a little annoyed with that nonsense.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of saw in the Invisible Man. Like, you took the Invisible Man concept, you turned it into spousal abuse and all this other stuff. I was like, come on, man, this is not. The guy's got to be drinking a serum and going crazy, and then
yeah, I mean,
doing nonsense and
realistically,
stuff.
with that, if you wanted a female lead for the Invisible Man, you could have just had it be the Invisible Woman, and I really think people would have been more inclined to watch that, like a mad scientist. And honestly, you could still play into gender roles if they had cut it back to the past, which is like she's not really respected in her field because she's a scientist, so no one really respects her or her work. So she tests her own serums out on herself, becomes invisible, makes her go crazy, but it also increases her endurance, strength, stuff like that. Like I don't see, like I just made so much like a script 10 times better, and I just shit that out. Like like the Invisible Man movie was abysmal.
Mhm.
And it's not even the fact that the movie itself was bad, but you tacked on a name that had nothing to do with the concept that you wrote. Like other than the fact that that the guy was wearing a suit that made him invisible. And then he dies like a bitch at the end. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, all you're doing is setting up an anti-hero. You're not even setting up a villain for the reoccurring invisible, who would have been the Invisible Woman, because she would have continued that route. I assume if they made a sequel. Yeah, I don't know. I think that these movies are shit. Like, they haven't made a good.
Say this.
Bring back
Hollow
Monster
Man.
Squad.
Hollow
Hollow
Man
Man.
is the true remake of the Invisible Man. That's
Yeah, see, I get to the grape scene, and then I'm like, there's no point. Like, I get why that would be in that movie. It's like, it makes sense why that would be in that movie too. It's like, he's going crazy. He's like, I can finally test the limits of my depravity, whatnot, what have you. So that I understand that, but it just seems like it was thrown in there. It didn't really have important storytelling, I would say, in that movie.
It was his ex-girlfriend, right? So it was his ex-girlfriend.
They even mentioned. Did they ever mention that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did.
Man, I really just did not pay attention to that movie.
Yeah,
Sorry, Kevin
the
Bacon.
Invisible Man. The Invisible Man. Some of the things I could have went in sour on is that Johnny Depp was supposed to be the Invisible Man before they canceled the whole Dark Universe, and I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
All right, so Curtis said that he enjoyed the Invisible Man remake. Hey, Curtis, happy holidays to you.
Those are opinions.
It does, for the story that it does tell. It's not too bad, but for the story that it should have told, if it was going to be an Invisible Man remake, it just had to be an Invisible Man remake. I think
making it
a
whole relationship
different thing.
Yeah,
it also just like it makes it's I don't know. It just kind of makes the Invisible Man more of a dumb idea though as well, because like, oh, so this guy's gonna go and basically use this to torture his ex for some reason.
Like, whoa, this dude just created the most lethal weapon ever known to mankind. This will change the tides of warfare. I'm gonna use it to stalk my ex-girlfriend.
Literally.
And also you could have just continued with like a mad scientist making serums and whatnot. You didn't have to do it in an exosuit. That was stupid. That was the main thing I hated about the movie. I hated the exosuit.
Well, no, I felt like I felt like if they were gonna go the techie route like that, like okay, he gets the suit, but he slowly starts mentally declining, like almost like the Lawnmower Man. But then just say like to the point where the suit just some scientific accident bonded with his skin molecularly, where he actually does become, you know, invisible.
Yeah, that would have been
So
good. That would have been really
See,
interesting.
that's the route I would have gone, but you
I
know,
would
Would
have
have been better
rather
with what they did.
Invisible Man be like the main character if that's the case, then, because I would rather see
well,
it
yeah,
an actual
exactly.
like movie
Was in the
about them going.
in the original Universal film and in the book. Well, in the book, he was like the secondary main character to the narrator, but you know,
Yeah, but like
but yeah,
that,
the
that
Invisible
sounds
Man
like an
is the
awesome
main point of the
movie,
Invisible
just
Man.
seeing this guy that just like wanted to do something cool for science just lose it.
Yep.
I do feel like in the original Invisible Man, though, he was kind of always an asshole. Like he was just a narcissistic douchebag who was
Oh,
high on himself.
sure. I mean, he's not good. He doesn't
But
have
in
to
the
be a
book
good
too,
guy,
he wasn't
but
much different in the book. He was just a lot more. From what I haven't watched the original movie in a while, but in the book he was very unhinged, very just like
Yep.
like
Borderline psychotic.
brute force aggression kind
Yep.
of deal. So like there's a line that I remember from the original film where the Invisible Man says that I am very strong. My hands are very strong, and I will use them to kill you. And I'm just like, all right. So that kind of sums up every sequence of the book with the Invisible Man, at least from my perspective when I read it last.
Yep.
Yeah, he was psychotic.
Alrighty. Let's keep moving on. So I don't know if
He
you've
abused
all
everybody,
caught
not just women.
the fan-made poster that's floating out there on Facebook by iTunes Official. It's for the American Psycho remake, and just throw a quick side-by-side up there where we have Austin Butler as a
That's Leatherface's chainsaw.
Yep. So yeah,
it doesn't
no,
work. It doesn't work because they used one of like the worst pictures for that, I guess, recreation of a picture.
Here's my problem with it. Obviously, they're
If
going
they
to
had
slick
picked-
back his hair
if
and
they
make
had
him look
picked
like an
a
80s
picture of
guy.
when he played like Elvis doing a smile, yeah, I could see that. I could see that for sure. By the way,
Steve and I shared the
fantastic
opinion.
job.
We talked about it. We talked about it and we share the same opinion. Austin Butler, great actor, very good actor, but why waste a reboot of a movie on a reused actor instead of letting this be someone's breakout role? Because we also talked about that. I mentioned it. I mentioned it to Dave, and he said that at this point in time, Christian Bale was not a big name. He wasn't a huge name like he is, at least not in how he is now. So I don't want to see him in the movie. I really have seeing Austin Butler's name attached to American Psycho does nothing for me. I have no interest in going to see this remake at all. And it's no like I'm not trying to hate on Austin Butler. He's a great actor. He seems like a decent guy. I just don't give a fuck that he's playing American Psycho. He hasn't shown me anything that shows that he can take this role and do something that Christian Bale couldn't even do with the role. So
see, but that also like it builds him up to not even like give him the chance though. Because what if this is like fantastic?
Yeah,
like,
but I
this
don't
is
want to say
real?
that he was good in the film because I expected nothing out of it. You know, like that doesn't do anything for me either. I expected shit, and I got more than that, and I got something better than that. So that's all right with me. Like I don't want that. I want something that I think I will genuinely enjoy and like be like gripping my seat while I'm watching it. When I was watching Christian Bale play it, like
all I'll say is the remake of Psycho, right? Vince Vaughn playing in Psycho did not work. The movie is largely forgotten, and I think that's what's going to happen with American Psycho. Marcus, what's your thoughts on this? I know we've all talked about this off camera.
Yeah, my take on it is my biggest concern. Like, I feel like Austin Butler is a phenomenal actor. Actually, he's up there right now.
Yeah.
But I'm more concerned about the charm of American Psycho when it came out in 2000 was setting this film in the 80s. That was the biggest charm of the film because it made Patrick Bateman who he was. He was a man of his time. You know what I mean? You know, narcissistic, very into himself, always trying to upstage the next guy, heavily into that 80s New York nightlife. You know
That's
what I
actually
mean?
a really good
Very
point.
posh,
like-
very current with the pop music of that time, which was like key to his personality. You know what I mean? To like whatever emotion he was feeling at the time, he always had a certain song that was in sync with how he was feeling emotionally. So my biggest concern is like, okay, one, is this going to be a period piece again set in the 80s, or are they going to try to modernize it or something like that? Like, to me, it's the
get ready for
setting.
modern day fuckboy American
Yeah.
Psycho.
That's
You up,
my
baby
biggest
girl.
concern. That's my biggest concern,
I
because to me the setting was just as important
Yeah,
as
I 100% agree with that. Like,
everything
I
else.
wasn't even
Yeah.
thinking about the fact that they might even change the setting because it doesn't make sense to. But now that
Yeah.
you brought it up, I'm terrified.
Yeah, you can't put that in modern day settings. It's not going to work. What is he going to be, an influencer? Is he going to be like an
That's what I'm
Elon
talking
Musk
about.
type of character?
It's gonna be Jake Paul, but killing people, taking people out. Like,
Yeah.
They'd have
If
to
you-
if they were to modernize it. I can see a way that they could do it. It's possible. It's just very hard to do it, especially without making it corny and also end up making it to a point where it's dated too much, where it's not even a timepiece. It's just
Right.
slop.
you have
And then
to,
it's
well,
forgotten,
in order
and
to
then it's
call it
terrible.
American Psycho, you have to go based off of the source material, and a big part of the source material is the fact
Yeah.
that it takes place in the 80s.
Mhm.
They understood that when they made the original film. They didn't
Yeah.
change it and modernize it to the year 2000. They
Yeah.
stuck with the 80s. And
If you want a modern day American Psycho, go over to
it wouldn't be American
Hulu
Psycho.
or go. It wouldn't be. Go look up the Just
All of
Watch
them.
app and type in Tragedy Girls. That
Yeah.
is your modern day retelling of American Psycho, and it
Yep.
is superb. I would
Yeah.
even say you can throw Faceless After Dark very close up there, but Tragedy Girls is the true remake of American Psycho, and it's not supposed to be. It just plays out that well, and the movie's brilliant. It uses everything today, technology-wise, perfectly in that film.
The thing I love about Faces After Dark is, regardless whether or not you consider it an homage to American Psycho, is that it truly does show the internal depravity of a creative mind and not being able to express that creativity. That's the main reason why I really love that film, because it did a good job of showing that.
See, that's
But,
why. Actually, something I should have mentioned when we were gathering topics for this. There's a show that's going to be. I think it's already coming out now. But if you've watched the Fallout TV series, Ella Purnell is in I guess, kind of like a serial unaliver show.
I did see the trailer for that. Yeah. Yeah.
It looks good. Like
It
she's like
does.
I think she's a reporter of some sort. I'm not too sure what she actually is, but I know it's like something where she's like underappreciated at her job. She's getting bullied like, right at her workplace, and she just snaps. And the whole it's kind of like Dexter in a sense, but not like she's like unaliving people for good, like somewhat good reasons.
Joey says Sweet Pea.
Yeah, Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey XYZ says that both Christian Bale and Austin Butler are both get into their roles. They could bring some new elements to it. Possibly, yep. Let's see
It's
here.
true.
We
He was
have
also really good in Bike Riders, if you guys saw it.
Yeah.
Like that was a fantastic movie, I thought.
Especially to be based off of pictures, not
for real.
so much actual information.
That movie is really good. I recommend you guys if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. CG enjoyed the one with Christian Bale, but is not the biggest fan. And then he also says that he thinks American Psycho can be done like the remake to Maniac, the 2012 version. Make it die. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens with it. I'm
rooting for Austin because I like him as an
Yeah.
actor. You know what I mean? So yeah,
he's got a really long career ahead of himself.
I'm not gonna say I'm rooting for him because I don't think that this is gonna really affect his career, win or lose. Like if this movie flops, it's not gonna affect his career. So I don't really care, because that's the thing. I can't root for this movie because I'm not supporting it. I think that the idea behind the actor is a bad one. And like I said, it personal opinions, that's fine. But personally, my opinion, I don't want to see him in it.
I think the other
want
thing
it to
that worked
be,
really well for Christian Bale, though, I think the other thing that worked really well is he's not, I guess, super conventionally attractive. Like, he's an attractive man, but he's not like, He's hot. But he's not like what?
Christian Bale in that movie was the most conventionally attractive man that they had in there. That is the whole reason they casted him.
He put into it, like he did, he does for many of his roles. He worked out. He took good care of his body. And he like
did he change his facial structure? He's a conventionally attractive man.
Well, hold on. This is what I will say to this, and then we could go to the next topic.
Look,
when Christian Bale got cast in a role, he was really only known for two things. He was the kid in that Steven Spielberg movie. What was it about the
E.T.
I forgot. I forgot the name of the movie. It was like a war film, and then Swing Kids. I think he was in, and that was it. Where Austin Butler, he's going to bring a whole new audience to this because of his fan base. You know what I mean? So that's the difference.
With the name attached comes criticism. Christian Bale had none of that attached to him. So Christian Bale coming into this movie was an unexpected delight. Like we didn't know what we were going to get out of him. Austin Butler, we've seen what he's done. We've seen what he can do as far as the range that he's been put out so far. Yes, he can act. And yes, his method acting has caused issues, as we've heard by Elvis. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I think that he's going to perform well in this movie. It's like Jared Leto, right? Well, I mean, first off, he's a shit actor, but like he method acted for the Joker, and that was the worst fucking performance I think I've ever seen in a superhero film.
CG nailed it from Empire of the Sun. That was the name of it.
So before we switch over to our next topic, but I get what Yoink is saying over there. Christian Bale. Yeah, he's conventionally good looking. Austin Butler is pretty. He's pretty to look at.
Austin Butler is hot.
Yeah, he's pretty to look at. That's what it is. He's more eye candy than Christian Bale is. But let's go ahead and switch.
I think that's where I was getting there, at least.
Yep.
But that also works to a disadvantage of the character because the whole point of American Psycho's character is also being able to smooth talk in certain situations. Now, granted, he's vocally inept about certain emotional aspects, but he was very smooth.
I swear to God, if Austin Butler changes his vocal accent one more time to like completely fit a character, I'm gonna be so upset.
He's probably going to.
No, he talks like this every goddamn day of his life, and it's pretty soon after he's gonna be talking like this in every interview.
Boy. All right, well let's switch over to a Death of a Unicorn. So we got Jenna Ortega back with Paul Rudd. First time of them two being on screen. This is Paul Rudd's first horror comedy that's based on an animal or a mythical animal, and then he has another one that's coming out next year for Anaconda with Jack Black. But Death of a Unicorn looks pretty damn good. So let me play a little bit here.
Does it look like Jenna Ortega has white hair? Like gray hair?
It looks like she's got some highlights. Yeah.
I get this feeling I don't think we're supposed to be here.
It's so funny every time.
Yeah. She's so good. Let me fast forward here a little bit because I thought this was another funny scene here, right here, when they're figuring out what it is.
A lot of species in this area are rare. What exactly are we saying this is, though?
I think we know exactly what it is.
A horse-like mammalia
with some sort of protrusion or growth.
It's a fucking unicorn.
I don't think I should be in swim shorts for this moment.
every clip that he's in, he steals the show.
I love that man. Ever since he busted out in Guardians 3 with like the ripped physique and the funny portrayal of Adam Warlock, he's been in my top 10 favorite actors to see on a screen for the past.
There you go. Why not just put him in the American Psycho seat? He probably would do a better job.
See, that would be
comedic timing. His comedic timing in every role though is just on point though.
Oh yeah.
He's just naturally fun.
Yeah. Even when he was younger, I don't know if you guys saw We're the Millers or something like that. But yeah, like that was a fun movie. He was really.
Wait, you guys are getting paid? Yeah, he was the best part of that. He was the best part of that movie too. Yeah. The don't go chasing waterfall scene. I'm pretty sure he did that off the cuff. Pretty sure that was off the cuff. I love. He
learned it for that scene.
There's another cool thing in here. I want to see if everybody kind of picks up on it. So I'm going to share this real quick here. And this movie seems like it's going to be chock full of Easter eggs.
Okay, bad things will happen.
Oh yeah.
There are two of them?
Yeah, you got a little Star Wars in there.
Mm-hmm.
We have some Indiana Jones in there.
The scene with the heart.
Jaws.
No, the hat. Jaws.
Yeah.
We have
No,
Alien in there.
The scene with the hole in the chest is definitely something too.
Yeah, that's coming.
That was
seems
Mortal
to be-
Kombat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
Yeah,
the heart
that
dropped
seems-
too, and then he
That
fell.
seems to be the new hot thing because that's in Hard Eyes too. So you have the hole in the head. So that seems to be the new thing that people are going to trend towards for a little bit.
See this.
Hey, you
this
know
movie
what? I like
looks
it.
fun.
I'm a big Mortal Kombat guy. I fucking love Mortal Kombat. This is
I'm gonna turn my brain off and just enjoy this.
Yes, that's this. It's like Cocaine Bear. So Joey
Mhm.
XYZ.
I
hot
love
take
that
at
movie,
the
too.
Wednesday show. Felt to Monster High, but Jenna is the best actress in this generation. Nobody has a breakout like her. You are 100% right. She
That is a
freaking
take,
amazing.
but it's not exactly a wrong take.
No,
there's a
like
really weird way of agreeing with her.
it's well, we talked about it, right? She's in the movie with the high school shooting. She's one of the best parts about Scream. There's another horror movie that came out. I think it's called American Horror Story or something like that, where she's in it. She does a great job. She's in A Babysitter Killer Queen. Everything that she's in, she knocks it out of the park.
I will say that there were we are forgetting one child actor who as far as I can tell hasn't shown up since Doctor Sleep, that probably could have done the same thing that she had done as if he was a cuter kid, and that is the kid that got killed in Doctor Sleep. Because that scene I had to turn off first time watching. I watched that, so like when I got the movie itself, I was like, going past that, watching it in theaters, I was like, I fucking hate this, because that was such a good, like, really drew out emotion when he was getting taken out. But the kid's not a conventionally cute, wasn't a conventionally cute kid, so it was like, we're not gonna push this one. We need ones that are adorable, ones that make you go ah.
Nah, they
I
pushing
feel
him
sympathy
because
for this one.
they're pushing him, but they're pushing him more towards dramatic roles because he was the kid in the movie. What was it, with Owen Wilson and Julia Roberts, where he had the disorder, the face.
I know you're talking about, yeah. See what I mean? They didn't make him
he did
cute in that
one.
one. They made him purposely gross.
Yeah, like they're pushing him more on that elevated scale of acting.
He wants you to know that he has a heart and not a face.
Yeah.
He's not a looker.
There's one actress that I will say that hasn't gotten the chance that is probably on the level of Jenna Ortega, and that is Lulu Wilson, who plays Becky. And she was in Annabelle's Creation, and she was in Ouija Origins. She's an amazing actress. She has a great range. She has a very great range. All right. Oh, they're so fun. They're so good. The first one is not so much because the one actor, Kevin James, kind of takes away from it a little bit, because I thought he
No,
could have
but
done a
she
lot
still
better in
knocks
the
it
role.
out the park, though.
She's
She knocks it
just
out the park.
amazing.
Yeah.
That school shooting movie you're talking about is called The Fallout. Very good movie. I recommend watching it. It is a hard movie to watch, though. Just keep watching.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
Yep. All right. So keeping right along, I don't know how long we're going to spend on Evil Dead before we dive into all the Scream news. But so we have the announcement by Sebastian Vanisek on his Instagram page of the title for the next Evil Dead movie, and it's Evil Dead Burn. And as we know, this is one of two movies that are coming. So I have no idea what this movie is possibly going to be about.
Evil Dead Burn, Evil Dead Book.
Yeah.
My thing is this: I just want them to pick up on or capitalize on there being the three Necronomicons and bring the whole universe together. That's what I want them to focus on.
And they could easily do that too. They could be like, they could go based off of the either the ending of Ash vs. the Evil Dead or the alternate ending to Army of Darkness. But if you want to, but you could also implement the Easter egg from Evil Dead Rise into reintroducing Ash, or at least like having his character introduced into the realm of the new movies, because with his cameo, he's telling them to burn the book in the audio file about when they're talking about the Necronomicon. He traveled we've seen him travel in the past and to the future twice. Once off screen in an alternate ending, and then once in the TV show before it got canceled. So when I was hearing that, I wasn't thinking of it as an Easter egg. I was, but I was thinking of it as like, oh, that's Ash. Ash is somehow back in the past trying to stop the Necronomicon from creation. And I think that would be an interesting story to see. You could get a young actor that isn't, what's his name? That isn't Bruce Campbell to potentially play Ash. Get a new person in under the belt of Ash Williams. Just listen to me. He's not going to be here forever. We've just lost several amazing veteran actors from the horror realm, so I don't want to hear it. Bruce Campbell.
You know
is
what?
older.
Actually,
Even if he wants to come back, he's not going to be around forever. There will eventually need to be someone to take up that mantle, and I think that now is the perfect opportunity to fish around for that. Because, so we just lost Tony Todd, and we thought that we were going to see him in many more projects coming up, and we lost him. R.I.P. Tony Todd. So the idea that Bruce Campbell is just safe from that, it's crazy to think. So eventually we're going to need a replacement for Ash, because Ash is a very reusable character. So I think that this is the perfect opportunity to make a past dated movie with a new Ash. I'm not saying that Bruce Campbell shouldn't come back for Burn or for any of the other films,
Here's my
because
question.
I want to see him come back. What's up?
Here's my question: Was
What's
Bruce Campbell? How old was Bruce Campbell when? How old was Bruce Campbell when the TV show came out?
50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then here's my thing would be then if they had already shown Bruce Campbell as Ash aging, unfortunately, if they were to cast a new younger person as Ash now, it would probably mess with some people's heads and turn a lot of people off of it. Because
I'm
they've
not
already
talking about an
Ash's
origin
aging.
story. I'm not talking about an origin story. I'm talking about him going back in time again. Because he time travels. Ash has time traveled on several occasions. So this is something that he could do, but because Evil Dead, the little message
Yes.
it shows up in Evil Dead Rise, you could have it connected to something else that takes place in the past with a younger Ash. That's what I'm saying. A story that exists outside of the movies and TV shows that we've already seen exist in the current timeline. Joey, I know it's cold. I'm just looking at the facts. I don't want to lose Bruce Campbell as Ash. I fucking love him as Ash. I think he's great. I don't want to see him recasted, but it's going to have to happen. It's going to have to happen.
Hurts right here.
Take
Just
advantage
hurts
of
right
the opportunities before you get another Austin Butler as American Psycho.
Austin Butler is the new Ash Williams.
No, shut the fuck up, Lucas.
We're gonna start the Austin Butler
Hit him.
multiverse.
Hit him with a mute.
Look,
Hit him with a
And he's
mute.
gonna play Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger in the same movie.
Ban him.
Watch it.
They can't even get a Friday the 13th movie off the ground. We're not even going to discuss that.
Yeah. At one point, I would have picked Ryan Reynolds to be the replacement for Bruce Campbell, but now I'm just tired of seeing Ryan Reynolds delivering the same shtick in every single movie. It's just overdone.
I don't think that he could do it anyways.
You know what actor who I feel hasn't really gotten a chance to shine, and I don't know why, if it's because of the roles he picks or what, but I think he's like a really good actor. But Jonathan Tucker, you know, he's I mean, most people know him from Justified, and he was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake in 2003, and that movie Hostage with Bruce Willis. Dude is a beast of an actor, man. But I could see him doing something like this, like if they were to cast a younger Ash, somebody like him, you know, who's a little reddish but has the comedic timing too.
That's not a bad choice. That is not a bad choice. I think based off of the energy that this person puts out on film or on screen, and the ability and range that they have, and we've seen that they're willing to change their hair. Joseph Quinn.
All right, so we got two comments here. So Joey XYZ, if Old Man Logan was a fucking thing, Old Man Ash is okay. I like that idea.
Old Man Logan has regenerative healing and razor knives coming out of his fingers. Old Man Ash is still a human.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. If they already showed him old, they showed he can age.
You're not even
they
as
can
big
do
a
it.
fan as Evil Dead. I don't want to hear it.
That's okay.
Well, Jessie agrees with you, Noah. So she's like, it can happen, but also don't mind a young, new Ash. Even though I love Bruce, it is a character that can easily be done.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you.
Man,
like I said, I would love to see Ash in at least one or two more movies to give the character a proper send-off. the cancellation of the TV show did not do it justice, obviously. Although I will
Bro,
say I love that
haven't
ending
seen
and
Bruce
that fucking
Campbell
jacket.
enough. Let him have it.
Jesus, what?
I haven't seen Bruce
He officially
Campbell
retired
enough
himself as the
recently.
character.
I
Did
don't
you know that?
care. Bring him back. Money
It'd still be
talks.
his choice.
All right, let's move
Till
over
he's
to Scream.
90.
Let's talk some Scream news. So we got a big announcement this week, and then we also got another announcement that's kind of flown under the radar. So we have Chad returning for Scream 7,
Woo!
and then we got Anna Camp coming back.
I
or
love
not coming back.
her. I love
Who is that?
her. If
Anna
you've seen
Camp,
True
she was in-
Blood, dude, you will
Big
fall
Chad,
in
I'm on
love with her
season
character. Bro.
2 or 3 right now.
Exactly.
And then I'm off on
Marcus.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. I saw Anna Camp announced for Scream 7. It's like, I'm watching that
dude,
movie.
she is so funny. She is so funny, man.
Yep.
She was awesome. in
Wait,
True
wait,
Blood.
wait, well, who is she in True Blood?
You're only in season 2. You haven't gotten to her character yet.
Mhm.
She's not a
Yeah.
witch, right?
No,
She plays a
don't
reverend's
tell her.
wife.
Don't tell her. Yeah, don't tell her.
That's all I'm
Don't
gonna say.
tell
She plays a reverend's wife, but she was also in Pitch Perfect as well. So
Yeah.
Well, who is she in
yeah,
Pitch Perfect? She's the one that threw up everywhere?
I don't know. I've never seen the movies. I just know that she's in
Wait,
Pitch
hold
Perfect.
on.
How have
Pull
you
her
not
I
picture
would
back
not
up.
watch Pitch Perfect just for her.
Pull her picture back up. I need to see her again. This is so
Okay.
The
funny.
movie was good!
If it's who I think it is, I think that'd be so funny. It is her.
That's the one that vomited everywhere. That's the one that projectile vomited on stage twice, and then an Asian girl did a snowflake in her vomit.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, we need her in Evil Dead.
That
Get her in The
movie is
Exorcist.
so
remake.
funny. You need to watch it, man.
Yeah, here we go.
They're
Yeah,
good.
she's an
It's a good
awesome actress,
movie.
though.
Yes.
She's an awesome
I
actress.
love
man.
these movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
I may just watch it just because she's in it. You know, I
don't give a shit
I'm
about eye
big fan of
candy.
it.
she's a very funny lady. She's a very funny.
Yeah,
lady.
she's great.
She does that. She has that like. She can like be so many different comedic roles too. It's just. she's got
Hold
range.
on. Can we stop drooling over the woman for a second? I don't give a fuck about her. Chad is coming back. Ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
wait,
My boy who got
Make Chad the final girl.
Before we talk about Chad, I think Anna Camp is playing Leslie Mocker. I think that's what she's coming back for, and this will lead into our Chad discussion. But I
Who the
think
fuck is Leslie
that is
Mocker?
her role.
Bro,
That
Stu
is
That's
sister.
Stu
Stu's
Macher's
mom?
sister. No, Stu Macher's sister.
Her son got gutted.
She
in
is
part
old
5.
enough. She
Yep.
is old enough.
Yep, Vince. That's Vince's mom. So I was like,
Like she's not exactly like young enough to be like a teenager anymore, but like she is definitely young enough to play.
Pretty
a
sure
younger
she's in her
sister,
40s,
too.
dude.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But she still looks great.
Yep.
That's why they also just make up ages when they cast these people. Jennifer
Yeah,
Taylor
so
was
I
a
think
teenager in Scream 5.
yeah. So that's what
She's
I'm
going to high
saying.
school.
I'm gonna put my money down on it and saying that she's playing Leslie Mocker. Maybe she is a killer too.
I'm gonna put my money down and say that you're just gonna be disappointed as always, because they typically tease this bullshit where it's like, oh, Stu's gonna come back. Just kidding.
No, since Wes Craven hasn't been there, I've been able to figure out who is under the mask in the last 2 movies, and I thought I was pretty damn proud of myself. It's like I finally figured out. I'm watching the movie, and I figured it out as I'm watching it, and it turns out everybody figured it out at the same damn time. So I'm pretty sure that that's where she is going.
Nobody could have guessed that the reboot of the Scream franchise would have included the boyfriend as one of the main bads. Shocker. I saw him. I was like, "Yep, that's one of them." A little twink,
Oh, yeah.
if I ever
He
seen one.
was so obvious in his delivery
Yeah.
and everything else.
Now, granted, that does remind me though that Jack Quaid, so the main guy in Scream 5, he's gonna be in a movie soon. That's based around a real. Yeah, it's based around a real chromosomal genetic disorder where there's a very select few amount of people in the world that just can't feel pain. They can die. They can definitely die. So that when they mention that in the trailer, that is like they're going pretty close to the radar with this. But since they experience less pain, no pain, they're able to withstand more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm very that trailer looked awesome. I'm very excited for it. Especially when he punches the glass and he just,
Yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer, watch it.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
talk about
watch
that
the
next
trailer.
week. We'll throw it on our topics.
Oh, for
So
sure.
let's stay on
Cool.
topic here. So we have C out there saying Chad was the worst part about Scream, but Camp is True Blood. In True Blood is goaded.
Yeah,
Just
she's
rage
Uh,
bait over here.
they cast the
baby.
girl from Ghostbusters in this too.
Yep.
The one that was in
Mhm.
Madam Web. And
Also, can we just say that Courtney Cox has been in every single movie, and you're somehow saying that Chad is the worst part of the entire Scream franchise? Please come back with a better comment than that. When
Chad is
Courtney Cox
best
is
girl.
gone, huh?
Chad is
What?
best girl.
now I know
Chad
they
is bad.
it's not confirmed yet, but they said they approached what's his name to reprise his role as Sydney's husband,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dempsey.
Oh yeah,
Patrick
Yeah.
Dempsey. Yep.
Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
So let's talk about this. So if we have Chad coming
steamy.
back, that leaves the options for Mindy, and it also leaves the options for Martha to come back. So if Chad signed on the dotted line, I would imagine that it's only a matter of time before we get Mindy to come back. Because
Is
how
this
can you have
is
Chad back without Mindy?
this a
Exactly.
full role reprisal though, or do you think it's just like a short little cameo?
I don't know.
Like how they did with how they always do with Randy's sister, because she
Nice.
always
Or what if
pops
they
up.
brought him back
They
in,
need to make him the main character.
or they
need
brought
to
him
Ah,
back
so-
and took him out
the main
first?
one, the final girl.
So I want to address this one comment real quick. So Jasmine said no. That is come out to be false. So that was
Yeah,
an
that's what I
internet
heard.
rumor that came out recently saying that it was false. That she never said no to it. She hasn't gotten a call for it. So that's the story with that one. So we could see again. You can't have Chad without Mindy. And if you're gonna have Chad without Mindy, what does that make him? Does that make him kill bait in the opening scene? And then if you do that, then you really destroy the chances of ever bringing the core four back from the new Scream films back if you end up killing him in this film. So
Well, also
I
imagine
would,
taking him out in the beginning after he gets after what happened to him in Scream 6.
yeah, I think if he comes back and nobody else does, he's guaranteed to survive the movie.
Hmm.
Oh no, don't worry. It'll just be a thing that he has a daughter somehow.
You know what
Well,
would
it
be
is a
funny?
10-year time jump.
You know
It
what
is a
would be
10-year
funny?
time jump.
Forgot about that.
They're still doing that. I thought
Yeah.
they wouldn't be doing that. Then.
Yeah, because
They've been bullied
what's
out
his
of
name
doing it
is
by now.
old girl is playing Sydney's daughter, so they got to do the time jump.
hmm
Yeah.
Who's playing Sydney's
watch-
daughter?
The girl from Ghostbusters, I think.
Oh, okay.
Now watch all of this stuff come out that they're doing a time jump and they're casting this people, and then when we get to the movie and it's not a time jump. Because they've done it before where they've leaked scripts and all this other stuff and put it out
Yeah.
there so that
It better
would
just
throw
be it's
people
not a
off.
time jump, and we.
You
still
know what it
get
is? They're doing exactly what I told Lucas that is turning me off on this film is doing. They're purposely making surrounding this film with shit, so when we go see it, it doesn't smell as bad. It's like Austin Butler's. Like I'm expecting bad things from American Psycho with Austin Butler. So if I go in and he does better than what I expected, which is nothing,
I wouldn't expect.
then it's.
bad
Hold on.
things.
We're not talking about opinions right now. I'm just saying. But I think it's gonna be the same thing, right? They keep surrounding the movie with shit. So then when you go in to see the movie, it's like, oh, it's actually not that bad. It's actually a really good film. When it's in all actuality, it's not. It's just they knew they couldn't capitalize off 6 and 5, so they did whatever they could to make this one seem not as bad. That's what I.
Hey, so let's address C's question. He asked if Jenna and Melissa were really out. So the whole Melissa thing was when they fired her, they regretted it. The filmmakers actually said they had no parts in really firing her, and they regretted how everything went down. So they made it up to her with Abigail. Now they haven't approached her yet about returning, but I think she's like kind of, the way how all of that went down. I don't
The
think
fact
she'll
that
ever come back.
she's openly saying she'd rather do Scary Movie than Scream, I think she might be out. Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say this does put her in a very interesting financial position to get what she
The
wanted
Robert
for the
Downey
entire
Jr.
core 4 at that point.
All
Because
right, so
what's up?
I was gonna say let's go down that route. What you're saying. So when it comes to money, right? So now let's think about the whole thing with Scream 6, right? So we know that they didn't want to pay Nev the money to come back in Scream 6, right? So I'm thinking what we're seeing with Melissa is they scapegoated why she was let go from the film, being that comments that she made. But when the reality is that Jenna and Melissa probably were up for bigger paydays, and they didn't
Yep.
want to pay them,
Yep.
and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because
You can't
we
tell me
got
that
the
someone
inside.
tweeting for peace among all people is the quickest way to get you kicked off of a film.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. And, from some inside contacts that Marcus and I know from the horror conventions, we did get some word that who the person was with Scream 6 that didn't want Nev to come back. And I'm pretty sure it's probably the same person that had the problem with Melissa as well. So there's
Mhm.
one producer at Spyglass that's an absolute.
It do be like that. Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost him.
All right, so my internet just jumped. I cannot hear anybody.
I can't stand still. I can't. Oh no.
All right, I think we're back. Sort of back.
Noah's
Yeah.
over there looking like he just saw a reindeer get shot.
Uh-oh, the powers of B. The powers that be at Spyglass. I heard you talking bad about them.
Let's
Oh
move
my
on
God.
from that one.
Why the hell did I get kicked then?
Yeah.
All right, so thoughts. So what's your thoughts on this cast in here, Marcus?
I mean, I'm just interested to see where the good thing about Scream was they always had new faces coming to the franchise, so it's all about like where they're going to take the story next and like how is it going to all circle back around to Sid, now that they're bringing her back, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm just curious to see where they're going to take it this time because I'm a diehard Scream fan. It's my all-time favorite horror franchise because of the fact how it's the only franchise that really sticks to its own continuity, So yeah.
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 How about you, Yoink? Go ahead.
I don't know. I've been saying it the whole time. I just want Chad to be the main character. If they're gonna bring him back, let's just do it. Like, there's no point not to. He was like one of the coolest parts of the core four.
Yeah.
Survived two Ghostface is at the same time. I don't know how. Like walking out of the theater, I was like, I still cannot explain to you how he's still alive.
Because he's a part of the core four.
It's the core
He's bound
four
by oath.
No, but I think if they were to do anything to bring him back, I'd rather him be the center because I think he is actually a good actor, and I think that if anything, if they were gonna do, I guess like a male final girl, go for it. Chad, he's not that bad looking. He's smart, as we've seen.
He's pretty.
A little on the ditzy, but it's okay.
Beheadings. That's my favorite line.
I know we don't have to rewatch the Scream franchise. Like, I definitely don't need
We might
to rewatch it
just.
for the ranking. I'm probably going to. I might start one tonight.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I've done over 100 videos on this channel about Scream. I'm pretty good with it.
But you
Go
know
ahead,
what?
Marcus,
Like Dave and I talked about it off camera, man. I hope this has potential to resurrect the TV series, because those first 2 seasons of the series was freaking awesome.
Fire.
Even the last season wasn't bad. It just I prefer the original characters.
Well, and then I told Dave everybody needs to look up the article of what the producers and the writers had in mind for their official 3rd season, where they were going to kind of break the fourth wall, where the first 2 seasons all the characters are actually actors, but we see them stalked by the real life Ghostface as they're in their normal lives. So
like
it would have been
behind the
interesting
scenes type of like they're talking about.
Well, kind of like Scream 3. Kind of like Scream 3, but just more, up to date, so,
better.
Yeah.
That actually does sound like an interesting 3rd idea. God damn you, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, so Joey XYZ said allegedly Jen had scheduling conflicts, but it was solidarity. Yeah, I would agree with this too, because the making of the first 2 and 3, Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox were on 2 very big TV shows. They were on Party of Five and Friends. So there was times where they were doing double duty on the TV shows and the movies at the time. So it's something.
Yeah, and
And
you also can't.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say Jenna Cannell. If you look at her catalog of films and TV shows and voice acting, she's a very busy actress. So that's something that I see wouldn't deter.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like after Melissa was fired, everyone else within the core four slowly just made their exit from the film. And you can't tell me people who were all openly very committed to this franchise from the beginning of it and like talking about it throughout the entire aspect of its like run that she's like, oh yeah, I can't do it. Sorry, I'm busy, guys. Like, yeah, 100%. I believe, yeah, Joey. Like, it had to. It was core four solidarity. They were all like, yeah.
Thing I'm proud of, or the thing I'm very excited about.
Because the reason, because let's be clear here. This was definitely a studio, like a production firing. Like this wasn't like, yeah, like this is like, oh well, we can't look bad for press, or it's like, oh we can't give a woman too much money. God, that's exactly what they're doing. They're just being fucking stupid about it. And then they're like, oh well, here's Abigail, and then they're hopefully the Wayans brothers get her to shit on Scream in the next scary movie that comes out, but. Yeah, I think it was 100% solidarity, and more power to them because that was her getting fired over just hoping for world peace is bullshit.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Just all get along. Banned.
Yeah. So with that too, we also had some leaks that they're doing a Scream 8, which, of course, it's easy to guess. Anybody can kind of throw their money on it now. If they're doing Scream 8, this is supposedly going to be the start of a new trilogy. So we'll have a 7, 8, and 9, and that'll kind of finish off the story. So that means 7 could end on a cliffhanger. And if it's going to end on a cliffhanger, we know what's happening, right? So we talked about Anna Camp possibly being Leslie Mocker. So Stu's coming back. That's the only way I think it's going to satisfy everybody in both camps, where you have the people that are with the core four that don't want to watch the new movie, but if you hear Stu's coming back and that's revealed, then that's your cliffhanger going into the 8th film.
Unfortunately, I will in fact watch anything with that man. So that is
They're literally gonna Far From Home us. Like I Far From Home. Like I watched Far From Home, didn't give a singular fuck about the entire movie, and then they're like J. Jonah Jameson, but it's J.K. Simmons. Oh my god! That's like all I cared. Like we went to go see this at the drive-in for the first time, Far From Home, and like I jumped out of my seat because I saw J. Jonah Jameson. The entire time I sat still, did not give a damn about that film, and then he showed up. I was like. So this is gonna. I think it's gonna be the same thing, right? It's the movie's gonna be subpar the entire time. It's like whatever. Oh look, dead, almost died but didn't die. Probably should be dead but still alive. Marcus, you muted.
Yep.
And then it's what made it pop even more was the fact that he had just been Commissioner Gordon. Yeah. So to see him pop back up as Jonah again, man, everybody went ballistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
and I think
seeing him as Jim Gordon was pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. That movie was granted absolute horse shit, but yeah,
people
it was
forgot
great.
it was Jim Gordon. That's why there was no copyright or no studio infringements. Like, wait, you were in DC movie? What?
Literally.
Yeah, and I think that's how you get away with having Stu come back, right? In the next film is sure he doesn't get that much screen time and people will be pissed about it, but if he doesn't die at the end and we go into 8 knowing that Stu is back, the build up, the promotional material that'll come out for Scream 8, you'll have something very similar to what Blumhouse did. You'll have your side-by-side, Sydney, Stu, the final battle, blah, blah, blah. So that'll play out.
And the opener to 8 is Sydney gets her throat slit right in the beginning. She's the bait.
What I would like, though, is if you do bring Stu back in the final scenes of Scream 7, I don't want him to die in 8. Let's play this out over 2 films. Let's give it 2 films to play out this ending to this entire franchise.
Oh, you mean Infinity War it? You're gonna Infinity War it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. Now, something I thought a long time ago that they could do is you do an opening unalive moment with Patrick Dempsey with Mark Kincaid getting off in an opening scene. So that could be part 2 or part 8 or part 9.
You know what
really pisses me off about the franchise?
Oh,
like more than anything. You know what really pisses me off?
Two very opposing thought processes there.
Like, okay, so here's the thing. I really have anything positive to say. I apologize, folks. But in Scream 6, so I really like Scream 6. I think it was like one of the best introductions into the franchise. But when you do exactly what fans are asking you to do, which is reveal who's behind the mask at the beginning, and then just to spit on you with they show us the shitty Flash Thompson from the MCU.
That was a great opener.
That was awesome.
I
like
hold on. I'm not done. No, I'm not done, right?
I
Because
loved it.
we wanted them to do that. We've been wanting them to do that with Stu. So instead, they look at what the fans want. They do that, and then they take him out right in the fucking beginning. They do this consistently. Where they're like, oh, we're gonna do it. Fuck you. No, you don't get Stu. You get this. You get this instead because you keep they're cucking us. They're cucking us, and we're okay with it.
Here's an idea. Here's an idea that I know that Noah you've talked about and that you think is pretty cool, or that you think is just true about Gale being behind it all.
Yeah, it will make the most amount of sense.
So what they do is then they bring Courtney Cox back, and in the beginning of the first movie, they have Courtney Cox kill Stu and become the big bad of them both.
Wow.
No.
What would that prove? What would her taking out? Why would you bring back Stu to be taken out right in the beginning? What would that do?
Yep.
All that would do, because you're afraid of what's happening on the mic. All that would do is just make everyone collectively groan, stand up, and walk out of the theater. Nobody would want to see Courtney Cox overpower Stu Macher and then become the biggest bad. That reveal needs to be saved for the end. If Gale Weathers is the villain, she needs to come out in a highlighter green Ghostface robe and reveal to us that she is the actual big bad of it all.
No, because she would be awesome. Like if that was the white Ghostface thing, bro. Oh.
Yes, I know that. But why would you use her to take out one of her accomplices in the beginning of the film?
No.
Hold on. So we got to address what King Matthew III just said. So
what did he say? I didn't see it.
No, because this has been an argument, at least been going on nonstop as far as like that scene in Scream 5. Everybody keeps thinking it was Stu because of the height difference of the killer and everything. So they confirmed everything. This was the stuntman himself. Him and David Arquette are the same height, 5'10". David Arquette was kneeling. It was always meant to be Amber. It is Amber. They confirmed it for sure. So he's not as tall as Matthew Lillard that people keep thinking that, that was really Stu, because they keep forgetting that David was like bending down backwards too, because of the fact that he was supposed to play up that Amber is, tiny in comparison, but the way they had it angled, it was shot wrong. It was a bad take that they took. So,
but King Matthew III, if you want, tomorrow on the channel, releasing a marathon of Ghostface, navigating you through every single Scream movie in the franchise, revealing all of the clues on why Stu is alive. And guess what? I don't care what they said about Scream
that seems
5.
I gotta change
I'm
colors.
using
cover
that.
up something.
Yeah, you can change that to fit the narrative any way that you want, including
also,
having Matthew Lillard show up on camera in Scream 2 in the background. So you can
we
use
got
that
side by side
any
to that
way you want.
hospital before.
Well, he was
stabbed.
in the movie. He was in
know.
the movie. He was in the
that's what
movie.
I'm
He
saying.
was Chrome Face. He was Chrome Face with the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard. He was in Scream 5.
He got Jack. Wasn't that guy Jack though?
Yeah, it was his voice. It was his voice. I think it was.
No. I mean, like muscular. The guy had his. Didn't he have his arms out, like and everything? And he was like a big dude. No, okay, whatever. It's cool that Matthew. See, this I didn't even know that. Now I'm more angry that Matthew Lillard was somehow in that movie.
Look, I don't know how we're letting Yoink Lukas off the hook here, but Matthew Lillard does not get off.
Jesse
in
Lala
the
said,
opening scene.
"Funny,
I don't know, man.
Mind blown." No, that's not it. No, it's not. It's not even remotely a good idea. It's so shit. Why would you bring Stu back to be taken out in the beginning by Gale Weathers, a character that nobody wants?
If they're gonna do it, might as well give a dog a bone and give us something else that people have been
Oh,
pretty
okay,
much
but
want it.
at that point, this would make if Gale Weathers is the big bad, they would be working together. That would be the
Yeah.
point.
Mhm.
So then why
I
would
don't know.
she take him?
Have her be a petty bitch. I don't fucking know.
We know she's a petty bitch. She wrote a book about Sydney's mom. Oh, she's a
Yep.
slut.
All right, so we got King Matthew also thrown out there. Do you think Kirby's going to be in 7? Because from what I've seen on a leak script, it's either going to be Mark or Kirby dying. No, I don't want to hear that.
If they
You
take
just
Kirby out,
spoiled
if
my
they take
night.
Kirby out, I'm gonna be equally as pissed because
Oh
they
my
can do
God.
so much with that character. And that's the thing, like, right? They're gonna reintroduce the character in 6 and then take her out right in the beginning of 7. So
No,
stupid.
I want the TV show.
I want a
this,
Ghostface
as
task
I
force led by Kincaid
Yeah.
and Kirby.
as
Don't
I've
do that.
said many times, Scream is set up to be a franchise that can split apart and then eventually come back together. And I want to see
This could
Kirby
turn
with
into like
the
a cult
FBI hunt
war.
down
Like
Ghostface.
people from across the country, like you said,
Yes.
trying to take out these followers of Ghostface, but it's like they just keep popping up. We don't know what to do.
Bro,
And
I would love to see
I
this
love a
play out
special
to an
task force
apocalyptic scale. Can
designed
you
to take out
imagine that
slashers
shit?
because of that.
Yeah,
That
and
would be insane.
Yeah, and we've seen the fracture in the cult, right? At the beginning of 6, like we said, man, we had that moment, right? We get the reveal at the beginning of the movie. It's like, yes, now we get to see a whole new take on how this is going to evolve. And then another Ghostface offs him. So we've seen that there's a fracture within the cult of Ghostface where you have them taking each other out. So I would like to see that kind of play out still.
Yeah.
They're lining it up.
This
Mhm.
listen, that specific idea has a lot of potential. I can see that being huge. It's kind of like the Purge. It'll be like the Purge like at a certain point because it's just gonna if more people keep popping up, then it's just gonna be everybody against everybody.
Yeah, and CG's got a good idea. Make one of the Scream movies a point of view of the killer and do it better than in Violent Nature. Just a thought. Yeah, that'd be good too. That'd
Do
be
you mean
really
like the-
interesting.
So do you mean like a one-shot take of always following the character no matter what, or just the perspective as in like what so like how we see Sydney and all the other characters like trying to figure out what's going on, like they're plotting in the background, but then we
I
see
want them to
interact with
somehow
the
do
characters?
that, but also not reveal that they're the killer. I don't know. I
Then
want
they
them.
wouldn't
I
be
want
shot
them
in the
to.
perspective
I
of the
want
killer.
them. Well, not. I don't know. Maybe not the POV. Then I don't know about POV movies.
I
Very
will.
interesting thing.
I will say the perspective of the slasher would have to be like Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon, which we plugged at the beginning of the show tonight.
Yeah.
So find the first comment, go watch the short film that's in that universe. But coming back to this, I think if you do it that way and not do the over the shot guy walking and seeing him run through the halls and stuff like that, I think it could work. I like the idea. I think it's a good
Yeah.
idea.
See, but like, and
I would love
even cooler at like if you just you have them separated in a way where it's like there's very, I guess, strong hints that it's them, but you're not going to know until the end.
Like
If you're
every
giving out
other
strong
Scream
hints,
movie.
though,
What are you talking
yeah.
about?
Well, but
Lucas?
like,
That's like every
like
other Scream movie.
I don't know.
No,
it's
see,
in
here's
my
what
head. I
here's
can't
what you
explain
need to do. You need to film the movie, normal perspectives, and then you film other perspective, like other like takes revolving more around the Ghostface
Yeah,
and
called
their
Scream
perspective
4.
of each situation. So I'm thinking of Scream, the first Scream movie when when Sydney runs into Billy, right? And they're talking in the room, and then she goes to the bathroom, and then she gets chased by, I would presume would be Stu. Yes. I want to see like something like that. Like you see
That
the
wasn't
normal
Stu.
perspective of Scream, and then you get to see their perspectives of the situations that have taken place throughout the film. That would be something that I would like to see.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Yeah.
Stu.
It was still Billy.
No, it wasn't Billy. It was one of the kids that was pranking, because if you look at the clothes and everything, Stu had on different color pants, and he was in the hallway with Tatum. And
So that wasn't the
Billy
real
because
Ghostface in
Billy
the
had
bathroom?
dark and dreams. Yeah, it wasn't a real. It was a prank, another prank, like the kids running down the hallway.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was another prankster.
Interesting.
I say it's Christina Carpenter. That's who it was. That's who I've been pitching it as in my
Good
last
accomplice.
video on
Fair enough.
it. Yep. Let's see here. What we got in the comments. I think Dewey's death had had to be due to Stu and 5, cause the killer did say he was going to hit the organs. He missed the last time, and Dewey's brutal death happens afterwards. Yes,
I'm sorry,
we
shitty
talk about
camera
that
angle or
tomorrow.
not, it's really hard to make a petite, scrawny woman match to not only the height of Dewey, but the physical structure. That was a man under there. Like, if they really wanted it to represent a woman, they should have casted a woman. So if they're saying it's a mistake, that's their fault, and they need to fix it.
Thank you.
But
It's
no,
Gengar,
that's
but
100%. That's 100% Stu. That's 100% Stu. There's no mistake. They're just trying to throw it off. They're trying to make us. They're trying to make us think that they're stupid, and we do.
All right. So we got Destination Station training.
Fuck?
What if they kill Chad and Mindy?
Who starts a conversation like that?
That would be interesting. Open up your movie with them tied to chairs.
No, that's
and then
not
get
bad though.
unalive?
That would be
Yeah.
Reminds me more of Saw though,
genuinely
because they
upsetting
what
scene though.
they answer phone call the games on the phone like in the first Scream movie,
Mhm.
but then now we have Saw out. So it's like, oh, like Saw 10. It's like, no, like the original Scream movie that came out.
It would be interesting if the killers started taking like greater lengths to like take these people out though.
I
Like,
honestly
just
don't think that they
using the
would come
house.
back for their characters to be disgraced in that way, especially with like the backlash of what everything went down with 6.
Oh yeah, definitely not like that. But, like,
So I mean,
that
it would be
be
interesting to see somewhere in the franchise. You could have it be an opening sequence, but towards the climax of whatever we may or may not be getting in this upcoming new trilogy. So like, I would love to see, like, if we do take out Mindy and Chad, and in that way, in an opening sequence, do it in 8 or 9 when they've been established again.
Marcus, what's your thoughts?
Well, I wanted to address a question King Matthew III had. He said he said something about the image of Dewey in part 6. You remember how he had all the drawings and stuff? Remember, they paid police officers and stuff off to get evidence. Remember? And plus his dad was a cop too. And that image of Dewey that you're addressing was from Scream 2 when they found him in the school.
But that is an interesting catch. Yeah. It's an interesting catch, and he's very close because Principal Himbry is also drawn in the case. So that is a very, very interesting one because
wait, what happened?
Not that many people would have seen that. Well, the drawings in the shrine, right? So Principal Himbry was unalived in his office, and there's a drawing of him unalived in the office, but his body was not found in the office. His body was found on a flag. Yes, exactly. So somebody else is around still today that knows what happened in there. It's not. It wasn't in Gail's book. It wasn't right. It would have been Billy or Stu that seen that scene. So there's somebody else that's floating around. Probably Christina Carpenter, or maybe probably another character that they just throw out at us. Like, it's like, oh, guess what?
They just like, it's the guy from the third one.
Yeah, Sydney had another brother.
Her mom was really good at it. It was right. It's on people's magazine.
It could have still been Roman too, because remember, Roman had just met them a year prior when he gave them up the evidence for Maureen. So.
I'm thinking that we're going to possibly end up seeing a lot of the story that was originally written dropped, where you're going to have Leslie come back, Leslie Mocker, who's going to be played by Anna Camp. You're going to have maybe Christina Carpenter show up, or Christina Carpenter's role swapped out for Stu Mocker, and that to fill the shoes. And then we're going to hear the story of Roman, like you said, Marcus. Roman went back there a year beforehand. He planned it out with Billy. We'll see some sort of flashbacks and de-aging around that, and that's what we're going to see play out in the finale of the next one. You don't see Stu get unalive at the next one. You see his sister, and that's what the hangover is into the next one.
I think it is interesting to think about. In this movie, we could potentially be getting 2 antagonists that would be the female version of Stu. And Billy, in a sense, because if it is Christina Carpenter, then she had her thing with Billy. So that's your female awakening for Billy and Stu would be in this movie if it happens. Although I'm still disappointed that we're not going to get to see Tara, not Tara. It was Sam, right? It was Sam that was. I was interested to see where she was going with the arc that was revolving around her father. Because they were setting up a huge fight between her and Nev, and I would have loved to have seen Nev lose.
Yeah, that's how it should have been, right? So everybody in the past was talking about, it's like, man, I want to see Nev snap and put on the mask, right? And it's obvious that that was never going to happen. So Sam's character was the perfect replacement for Sydney in the franchise, but she was going to go on that story arc. It was
Oh
all
my
laid out there.
god.
Where because you can't have just anybody kill Sydney off. It has to be somebody that's a real threat for us to be worried about her. So if you raise Sam up, over a course of films, you make her a legitimate threat to Sydney. Go ahead, Marcus.
And then that would have forced Tara to be the new, hero, basically.
You remember how we talked about we talked about at the end of 7, Nev is running and she's badly damaged and brutalized and she's not able to keep up, and it's at that point you reveal that there's she's surrounded by Ghostface that are slashing at her and taking her out, and then there's the one white Ghostface which is revealed to be Gale. But it would be interesting to note that so Gale's there, Stu is there, you have this entire cult of Ghostfaces, but the person to take their mask off with Gale would not just be Stu but also be Sam, and she takes out Sydney based on Gale's order. And then it's so we get a surprise return from Melissa Barrera, and she's just as a Ghostface. We get her at the end as a Ghostface, and it's oh yeah, and then that's the end of 7.
Well, I always said I actually pitched to David. What was it? A couple years ago, how they could have set up Gale to be a Ghostface because of the fact that if you really look at all the films, Gale always could have easily said, Sydney is the bane of my existence. My career didn't go the way that I always wanted it to go. My relationship was ruined, because of, Dewey always being, Sydney's Superman. Even in Scream 4, they kind of hinted at there being a little chemistry between Sydney and Dewey on that couch scene, which I would have been cool with because, that instead of her and Kincaid hooking up, I would have been cool with her and Dewey linking up if they would have gone that route and then really sending Gale over the edge, to try to take out Sydney. But they dropped the ball.
Look at her profit margins. They rise and fall with each Ghostface outing.
Yeah. Exactly. And Gale admitted in 5 that she was the start of everything. Right?
Oh my
she
god!
Said it in the card to Sydney. It's it's all my fault. I started all of this, and that makes perfect sense. She started it, and she lost control of it. Yep, she lost control of it all. Why is she the one that's filming throughout the entire franchise too? Just like the other Ghostfaces, all the clues are there that you can actually easily pin it on her. And there's a moment in Scream 96 when she first comes in that her and Stu are yep, we know it's going to go down here. There's that one moment that they stare at each other, and it's yep, there's one of the major clues right there.
Oh, yeah. No, Devontae, he wasn't saying Sydney started. He was saying Gale was feeling guilty about reporting on Maureen's death and capitalizing on it, and that kind of triggered everything.
Yeah, I know that's what it meant, but you could spin it any way because she didn't say that she wrote the books. Devontae, can we just not have these two back? We don't need them back. No. You know what? I hear this from a lot of people that comment on the Scream content on the channel and on Facebook. It's pretty divided. Some people don't want the core 4 back. Some people don't want Sydney back. So it's a pretty divided franchise right now.
I really have no feelings about Sydney coming back. I genuinely don't care. I want Sydney Gale coming back. I don't want Courtney Cox coming back unless it's for the leader of this Ghostface cult. That is all I care about. Other than that, her character is just so goddamn annoying.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, she should have died in the last film, right?
I don't want to hear not dying in the last film kind of seals the deal that it's her that she's involved in some way. We got a pulse. Fuck you.
Yeah, let's see here. We got Joey XYZ. Sam going on a vigilante Ghostface type thing, maybe with Kirby joining the FBI team, having a killer in mind. your side, like someone in Hannibal vibes. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Mm,
Yeah, that's a
mm.
cool story to tell, and that's maybe something that we'll hear if Kirby comes back in the next film. Maybe we learn that that's where Sam's at. That's interesting. Rain of Horror is like, good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. It is. How's it going for you? But yeah. So I think it's interesting to talk about Scream 7 and 8 and 9, potential killers. Leslie Mocker. We may get the story finale of Christina Carpenter in the future. I think we'll close on this, right? I think what we say is, honestly, if Scream 7 doesn't make money, are they going to Sam or the Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega and say, all right, what do you want?
Sorry.
We'll want you back. Just name your price, come back, and we'll make another few $1,000,000 with their return.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen. But
I already
bring back
think it has
Chad and
happened.
Randy's dad. Bring Dwayne back. Yeah, right.
Bring Randy back. Make him a bad guy for all I care. Just bring him back too. Off-screen death. It doesn't count if it was off-screen.
He's the only one that survived the attacks.
Yeah, I just hope that Courtney Cox doesn't get her way to come back, and that was with bringing Dewey back, because it's like, oh, we got to find a way to bring him back, and no, he's no. I know we don't.
Dewey actually underwent the Winter Soldier's surgery, so he's currently
But
running.
it's only
Winter Soldier wasn't even gutted when they started working on it. He lost an arm. This dude was opened from both sides.
Dewey's
there was only one body bag that came out of the hospital, but still, no. He had the perfect ending to his character. Like, I didn't want to see him go. It's an emotional scene for a lot of people out there, but he had a badass way of going out in that franchise. It's one of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. Is his unalive moment.
I disagree.
I just thought
first off, if
when we talk about ranking those unalive moments, it's going to be in my top 5.
All I'm saying is, if you're gonna take Dewey out, why not have him take a Ghostface out with you in a shock and awe moment? They go out together, and you find out who one of the people is. It's like, oh my god! So right, like he has the gun ready in his hand. He gets stabbed, and he's like, "Fuck you!" and he just goes, "Bah!" and then they both die. That would have been cool. That I would have respected. But you make Dewey die like a fish.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who's the cause of it? Gail Weathers. It's her fault.
Yeah.
We knew that. We knew that the Ghostface was gonna do that. That's their Ghostface. That's what they do. So we expected them to be assholes, but of course you had to call them, right? You had to call them.
Oh my god, the guilt that she would have if she knew that's why. All right, so Marcus, you're with me on it. If the next film flops, they're going right back for Melissa and Jenna to bring back them in the next film. Lucas, what do you think?
I mean, it just makes sense for money wise.
Mm-hmm. And then Noah.
So they're already starting it, right? Because they got Chad back. We're expecting Mindy to return potentially with him. So they're already like getting some eggs in the basket. So they're like, just in case, we'll have something in the barrel. I already suspect numbers are being written out preemptively that they know will be rejected by I'm blanking on their name, by Melissa and Jenna, because I don't with all the like backlashes this movie is getting based around casting, story, the political bullshit that's going on with it, or was going on with it. Like, I don't see this movie doing very well.
Could be Scream 4 all over again, where it bombs.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part about that is that Scream 4, as far as like the first 4 movies go, 3 is still the worst one. So I thought 4 was okay. So that's really gonna suck. What?
Yeah, I love 4. 4 was ahead of its time. No, it was ahead of its time. All right, so let's close out on this comment here, guys. We'll go round robin. What everybody's thoughts are on this. I think a TV show prequel to Scream 1 would be cool, focusing on a young Dewey, Gail, and Sydney, with voiceovers by Nev and David. So no, we'll start with
you. The idea of like following the characters, I would say if you're gonna do a prequel show, you got to bring Roman and Cotton and Sydney's mom and Stu and Billy all into, like, we need to get the full like effect of what happened leading up to Scream, so we need all those characters in it. I think that would be a really cool idea. I would love to see that. As far as voiceovers go, I don't think that's necessary. Based on what we were talking about with Bruce Campbell and all that today, like especially based on my opinion on that, I think that if you're gonna recast actors, I would not do voiceovers, especially since we've seen that a lot of production companies, when they're producing this stuff, that like you see the lips are off and it just doesn't work, and it always looks clunky and it takes away from what's being presented on the screen. So I would just say, like, if you're not satisfied, like a voice. You know, like people can take voice acting lessons. You know, there's things that they can do to like try and train themselves to sound like a character. Yeah. But even if they don't, if the performance is there, and I feel that they are representing the character in an honorable way, I don't think that I don't at all think that the voiceovers are needed. But I do think that a TV series prequel, one series, like a short series, I think that, like one season, I think that'd be really good. I think that's a great idea.
Definitely a limited series for sure.
Yeah, that would be ideal for it to be like a limited series, like a one-off.
Yeah,
8 to 10 episodes.
Here's my thing. Was it? Remind me again what actually happened to Sydney's mom.
So what happened was she went out. She left Woodsboro, went to LA, tried to get into acting. The Lance Henriksen character took advantage of her, brought her to parties. She got assaulted by the powers that be in Hollywood. Went back to Woodsboro. Well, while she was out there, she got pregnant with Roman. Nobody knows who the father is because she was promiscuous. Went back to Woodsboro, had Sydney, but she was still promiscuous. Cheated on Sydney's dad with Stu's with Cotton and Stu's dad and everything like that. But Roman tried to track Maureen down, and she turned him away and said, you know, that was her old life and everything, didn't want to have nothing to do with him. So he started stalking her and recording her and everything like that. Gave the evidence to Billy and told Billy to get an accomplice. So if they get caught, he could, you know, set that person up. And so that's how the whole Stu thing came about. So Billy was in it for revenge, and Stu was originally supposed to be the patsy.
Yeah. You left one thing out, though. Yeah, you left one thing out. Hank Loomis was a lawyer for Sunrise Studios, so he followed her out.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I will say it does show that Billy only had Stu there as an accomplice, with like when he's stabbing him and whatnot and telling him what to do towards the end of the film. He's like, go get do all this and that. And he's like just barking orders at him, and he threw the phone at him, like, which I know was not in script, but it does show that he wasn't tagging Stu along because he wanted him there. He just wanted a fallback guy. And I did not, and I also think I have a newfound respect for 3 in a weird way, right? Because like it's so disgusting. Like the whole concept for Scream 3 is basically what Harvey Weinstein was doing behind the scenes, and he produced that film. That movie, like Lance Henriksen's character basically was Stu, or not was Harvey Weinstein in real life, and yeah, it's just really interesting that was all written into the story in like some really disgusting meta way. It's like, oh, Harvey Weinstein's like, oh yeah, this is good. It's like, why is this good? It's like, don't worry about it. It's just it's content. It's gripping content that the nations will love. It's like, yeah, because you're fucking disgusting. But like I never realized that, and then I found out that like he was the producer for these films much later on. From watching Scream 3. So then I'm watching, and then I recently rewatched Scream like maybe a couple months ago, a year ago, something like that. I'm like, that's fucked. Because like I'm just watching it, just a light bulb clicked. It's like, this just reminds me of exactly what he was doing, and I don't like it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it
Lukas,
does make me.
On,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Marcus. Finish.
I was gonna say it does make me wonder now that Kevin Williamson is directing this and more than likely writing it. Then if he's going to borrow elements from his original script that he had for Scream 3, you know, and
That's
try to tie it into where the story is now, you know. So yeah,
the Scream 3 is the perfect tie-in story. Like you can't fault it for that.
It can be. It can be.
Yeah.
Christina Carpenter is the linchpin. If you bring her back, she can tie everything together. But Lukas, go ahead. Bring us out. What's your thoughts on a prequel series being limited series?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would like to see like the stuff that they talk about the stuff that they did talk about before
Mhm.
everything. Like I'd like to see how that progresses. That I think that would be an interesting show.
Mm. You know what I think will be an interesting show, and thank you for bringing this up in the comments. Let's fan cast that next week. So
Oh,
everybody, let's go home for next Sunday. Let's come back and let's do a fan casting of what the
for a
prequel will look
prequel?
like. So maybe we'll do
Word.
yeah, if
Okay.
maybe we'll try to get that in next week on top of that Easter egg hunt live. So we'll talk about that. But so that's it, like guys. That's all we got. It's the holiday season. We have some people that have to go out and do some holiday shopping, so we're gonna wrap up tonight. We'll come back next week. We'll have our show announced. We're gonna talk about it. We may do a live Easter egg hunt for David J. Stevie's new short film, or we may dive into this fan casting, or we may just do it January all Scream month because we got some Scream stuff that we want to talk about in January. So let's see.
New
We'll see what we
year,
do with that.
new word box.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Oh, yeah, they can still hear us.
Yes,
Love
they
it.
can.
Elmo's World. Yeah.
Nev
Trying to get you to do that.
Campbell,
What?
please come back for one more.
Gary.
All right. Night, everybody.
Good